This is the Louie T Network.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to lockdown coverage week number 14 in the National Football League. Indianapolis Colts taking on the Buffalo Bills in the Snow Bowl 2017 edition and version. This game was a lot of fun to watch. Just not because of the two teams playing or the level of play in this game, but just because of all the damn snow in this game. If you've never played football in the snow, it's a lot of fun. I've never played in quite as much snow as they played in. I mean, it was damn near blizzard in Buffalo. You couldn't see the lines. They did a great job. Got to give the grounds crew, they're the real MVPs of this game, because keeping those lines free so that the officials could see where out of bounds was, where the 20, the 30, the end zone. I mean, it was funny. When the Colts scored a touchdown at the end to make it 7-6, and they threw a touchdown pass. I want to say it was a two-point conversion, because the two-point conversion was on the left side, and it was to their tight end Jack Doyle, and he catches the touchdown, the two-point conversion, to give them the lead, what appeared to give them the lead at 8-7, and he spikes the ball, and the ball goes like literally 7 inches deep into the snow, and it never came back up for air. It was amazing. You know, when you spike the ball, it just pops up, goes anywhere depending on where it hits. That football died as soon as it hit the snow, and it went like 7 inches deep and it didn't come out. It was amazing. It was so much snow because this game had no points essentially. One touchdown by Buffalo early on in the game, and so the end zone was completely filled with snow. No one had been in there. There were no footprints, no tracks. No one had shoveled it. So the snow was its deepest in the end zone that the Colts scored in, and literally the snow was up to like the shin of Jack Doyle, who's probably about 6'3", 6'4". So you're talking about, you know, literally a foot of snow, probably every bit of 10 to 12 inches of snow right in the end zone. I mean, it was amazing. Just fun to watch this game. You knew the running backs were going to be the focal points of both teams' offenses. Frank Gore turning back the clock, 36 carries, $130 in this game. Big drive by the Colts late. We'll talk about that when we get to the Colts. Bills finding a way to win. They almost threw this game away. Shady McCoy was the story of this game. And Shady McCoy has dealt with this before, if you remember. He's played some of his best football in these types of conditions. If you remember, about 3 years ago in Philly, they were playing the Arizona Cardinals in a snow-filled game in Philadelphia, and he goes off for like $150 on the Cardinals and like 2 or 3 touchdowns and had a phenomenal game. He's used to the elements impacting the game, and so he looked comfortable, and he was the difference maker. He scored the only 2 touchdowns of the game. Well, he scored the overtime touchdown. The first touchdown was to KB in the game, before Nathan Peterman got knocked out, and you had to finish the game with Joe Webb at quarterback. Ugh, that's nasty. But nonetheless, Bills get the win. There's not a lot to discuss in this game. Again, the snow was the story here. But Nathan Peterman started out, didn't look too bad, didn't look great, but didn't look too bad. Threw a touchdown pass to Kelvin Benjamin before getting knocked out of the game with a concussion. He did not return. That left you with Joe Webb at quarterback, and that could have turned disastrous as he threw a pick late in the game that almost gave the Colts an opportunity to kick a walk-off field goal and hurt your feelings. That would have really stung. But luckily enough for you, the field goal was no good, and you were able to go to overtime where Shady McCoy was able to rip off about a good 42-yard touchdown run to win the football game 13-7. Defensively, you did well for much of this game, but on the final drive of regulation, you gave it up on 4th down, a number of 3rd down conversions. It seemed like an eternity that the Colts had the football. You just needed one more stop, and you couldn't get off the field, and you allowed them to go not only down the field to score a touchdown, but you allowed them to score a 2-point conversion. Luckily enough for you, the referees had a huddle. They end up throwing a flag for pass interference, OPI, on the Colts after Jack Doyle had not only caught the touchdown on the same damn play, read option, almost looked like a RPO, run pass option to the right. They come back, run the 2-point conversion, do the same exact play to the left. Luckily enough for you, they call pass interference, forced them to kick a 43-yard extra point. You know, Adam Vinatieri, the hero of the tuck rule game, been in situations like this in the snow where they needed to clear out a space from the kick. He drills it from 43 yards. It looked like he's going to miss. The Bills players start running off the field. They're thinking he's missed the extra point. It hooks in. Late game drama. It hooks in at the last second. This game's knotted up at 7 apiece. Then Joe Webb throws an interception that could have, big play by Matthias Farley, could have impacted this game greatly. Again, this is why you don't want Joe Webb at quarterback. Nonetheless, luckily enough for you, they tried, and the Colts could have gotten a little closer. A lot of people look at them 21 seconds after they run their final offensive snap, and instead of them taking another shot, maybe a 5-yard out of bounds or something of that note, and trying to get a little bit closer. Again, it's 43 yards. I know he just made a 43-yard extra point, but that barely went in. You don't want to set yourself up and get too comfortable with Adam Vinatieri because of his clutch kicking in the snow. You want to get as close as you can possibly get. You don't want the snow, the footing. You don't want anything to impact this kick. And so they really squandered an opportunity to get a lot closer than what they did. They sit on the football until 3 seconds left, spike it, and send him out there for a 43-yard field goal, which he promptly misses, sends the game to overtime, and the Bills were able to prevail in overtime with a Shady McCoy touchdown run. So both teams, I thought, battled, gave it a maximum effort. It was a fun finish. This was a tough game to watch from quarters 1 to 3.5. But the end of this game was epic in terms of the finish, with the Colts going for it on 4th down, getting all the way down the field, scoring a touchdown, seemingly taking the lead at 8-7, which would have been a backbreaker for the Bills. Then having that call back due to an OPI, then having to kick a 43-yard extra point, looking like it's going to miss, then hooking in at the last second to tie the game at 7. Then the Bills' backup quarterback throwing an interception that gave the Colts a football in prime field position to win the game with a walk-off field goal that misses from 43 yards. And then the Bills winning the game on a Shady McCoy walk-off touchdown run. A lot of late-game theatrics. Snow was everywhere. And I love the celebration of the fans after the Bills got the win. It was fun to watch. This is New York, December football in Buffalo. What else do you expect other than a blizzard? Bills get it done 13-7 in overtime, remain alive in the playoff chase at 7-6 with the win. For the Colts, this has been their problem, not being able to finish out ball games. They had every opportunity to steal this game and simply self-destructed with penalties and mistakes as they fall to 3-10 on the season with the loss. Let's get to any comments that may be out there and get out of here. PD Pablo says, Vinatieri's PAT did a parabola in the upright. It did, man. It was ridiculous. It looked for sure like it was going to be a miss. And at the last second, it did some kind of cha-cha-cha dance and spun into the uprights. It was crazy. PD Pablo says, that's humanly impossible. I had no idea how that got in there, but it did. Nonetheless, Bills get the win in overtime, 13-7, to stay in the playoff chase. And they've got the Dolphins coming to their building next week. That's a very winnable football game. They've got a shot. The Ravens don't look like they're going to lose another game. They've got this Colts team included in their last 3 games, at which they're on the road against the Browns, at home for Indy and Cincinnati to finish up. They could easily clean up those 3 games and keep you out of the playoffs. But in case they slip up, you've got to win all your games. It starts with Miami next week. Got to take care of the Dolphins at home. We'll see if you can get that done. For the Colts, I think Chuck Pagano is coaching his last 3 games as Indianapolis Colts head coach. We'll see what happens in the offseason, but another tough loss. This team is continuing to play hard. I can give you that much, but they weren't able to get it done yet again as the Bills win 13-7 in overtime over the Colts in the 2017 version of the Snow Bowl. It's going to do it for your man Louie T here on lockdown coverage. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Remember, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We changing the game one live feed at a time. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button. I've got much more lockdown coverage to come. Don't you go anywhere. More lockdown coverage coming at you next. I'll see you in a second.